everybody. In this video, we will discuss about the concept of static hashing. The static hashing is a hashing mechanism where the fixed number of buckets are used. Let us consider as an example the instructor file. The hash file organization for the instructor file is done as follows. Hashing works on the basis of hash function. Hash function is of the general form h of x is equal to x mod 3. So here, suppose the instructor file is hashed based on the ID attribute as a key, the following is the hash values. Let us first assume that the number of buckets is 3 and each bucket can hold a maximum of 2 records. So the hash function here provided ID as a key attribute. Hash function is understood as h of ID is equal to ID mod 3. This is the hash function suitable for this scenario, provided ID is a key attribute. So h of ID, this is a hash function, is equal to ID mod 3. So each record has a ID value, right? So in that field, the hash function is applied. So first 12, the record called as 12. So 12 mod 3, just modulus value will give us the remainder, right? So it gives us 0. That result of the hash function indicates the bucket, that is data bucket, in which the record have to be stored. Similarly, you can find the hash values for the other key values. Okay, so h of 10 is equal to 10 mod 3, which is equal to 1. That indicates the record with the ID as 10 will be stored in bucket number 1. Okay, and so on. This is how the hashing works. And since the static hashing has a fixed number of buckets, it leads to some issues also, which we'll discuss shortly. And this is the hash structure constructed for the instructor table. And for this hash function, which you see, ID is given as an input, and the hash function that is applied is h is equal to ID mod 3. Okay, and depending on the hash value that is calculated, the data bucket are stored within the records. So for 12, the record with the hash value 12, the key 12, the result is bucket 0, right? So 12 is stored in bucket number 0. And for 30, the result is 0. So 30 is also stored in bucket number 0. That is, the result of the hash function is used to designate the records into the one of the data bucket. Due to the fixed number of buckets, bucket overflow can occur in static hashing. Bucket overflows are generally because of the insufficient buckets and skew. Skew is a condition where one or few of the data buckets keeps on overflowing and some of the data bucket is still empty. This condition is called as a skew. And the techniques that are used to handle the bucket overflows are overflow chaining and linear probing. In overflow chaining, if a bucket overflows, the system will provide an overflow bucket and insert the record into the overflow bucket. The overflow bucket is linked via a linked list to the existing bucket. And the second technique is linear probing. In linear probing, there is no overflow chains. Instead, if a bucket is full, the system inserts the record in some other bucket in the initial set of buckets. With an example, we'll discuss about how this overflow chaining and linear probing works. Here, this is the instructor file that we have taken as an example, and the modulus, hash function is h of x is equal to x mod 3. And let us assume that the number of buckets is 3, which is fixed, and the data bucket size is 2. That is, each bucket can hold 2 records at a maximum. The hash function for the instructor table is calculated based on the ID value. Okay, and h of 12, h of 10, h of 20, h of 30, 15. The modulus value is found, and depending on the result of the modulus value, the records are designated into the respective data bucket. The calculated data values here, based on that, how do we handle overflows by using the two different techniques that we have discussed, that is overflow chaining and linear probing, is what we are going to discuss. The calculated hash values for all the records in the instructor file are this, which of 12, 10, 20, 30, and 15 are the ID values for which the hash function is calculated and the result is as you see on the screen. Now, furthermore, how do we proceed with the overflow chaining? Okay, so initially the first value is 0, right? So the record number 12 will go to 0. H of 12, the result is 0. So record number 12 will go to 0. Record with ID as 12 will go to 0. That is this record. Particular record whose name is Akash, CSE, and 45,000. 12 goes here, and the second record comes with ID as 10, which goes to bucket number 1, 20 goes to bucket number 2, 30 goes to bucket number 0, and 15 again goes to bucket number 0. But given in the question that bucket size is 2, so this bucket is overflowing. So in order to handle the overflow, a new bucket that is called as an overflow bucket is created, and the record is inserted here. And the overflow bucket and the initial bucket is linked via the linked list. This is how we will handle overflow by using overflow chain. And the second is a mechanism that we call it as linear probing. So in linear probing, the same is the case that the hash function works upon the key attribute, that is ID. The, on the ID value, the hash function is applied, and the result, based on the result of the hash function, the buckets will be designated with the records. And we go with the same values as stated here. So first hash function for a record called as 12 with ID 12. So it goes to bucket 0, right? So 12 goes here, then 10 goes to bucket number 0, 20 goes to bucket number 3, and the 30 goes to bucket number 0 again, and the 15 goes to bucket number 0. But here in linear probing, strictly, no overflow chains are allowed. So the overflow record will be stored in any of the initial set of buckets. Initially we had 3 buckets now. So in one of the 3 buckets, the overflow record will be stored. So that is the hash value 15, which results in bucket number 0, and where bucket number 0 doesn't have any space in it. So the record with hash value, the ID value as 50 will be stored in the next bucket which has a space in it. So 15 goes here. Okay, this is how the overflow is handled by using the two different techniques, overflow chaining and linear probing. In overflow chaining, a new bucket is created, and which is called as an overflow bucket, and linked to the initial bucket via the linked list. Whereas in linear probing, no kind of overflow chains are allowed. Here you will be storing the overflow record in the next bucket where the space is available. And this is all about static hashing concepts and the ways in which the overflows can be handled by using for under static hashing. Hope you understood the concept. Thank you all.